Okay, welcome back to our second day for JavaScript Node.js Essentials. And here we are live. First of all, let me just go over here. And I think my camera is visible to you. First of all, just can you just let me know that am I visible and is my screen is visible to you, audible, etc., etc. I hope I am. So that we can start with today's session. And I'm just going to give you like quick recap like what we did yesterday. For the yesterday's, we just came to know about little bit of servers, how we are going to use JavaScript to create an application that is going to enable my laptop to become a server and all. Yep, that's great. So yesterday also, I just gave you like a quick recap to JavaScript. I told you about the variables and also about the functions and some of the operators. Today, I will just tell you about how what you can pass inside a function and rest of the stuff. So let's start with today's session. And okay, so here is the folder server that we yesterday created, and here I have my file, and I have already opened my VS Code in this file. And as you can see, all the code for the yesterday is already here. And if I just can go here, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go over here and let me just bring it little down. And all you can do, just note. I think my laptop is little laggy today. CLS. Let's close this one. New terminal. Okay. And I think my terminal is giving facing little errors with my terminal. Okay. It's going to open. VS Code is open. Okay. So what we are going to do today. First of all, I will just tell you about something called objects and how you can pass a function as a parameter to another function. So remember yesterday we created a function. So like let me just create a function for you. Fun, and this was a kind of weird syntax for you if you are like coming using the JavaScript for the first time. And all you can do is just console.log hello and good. I think my laptop is little laggy, so I have to fix it. Okay, a save here. Let me close this VS Code and I will just open this VS Code one more time because it's lagging a lot. And okay, shall we start by the way? Okay, okay. And before that, let me just tell you how you can mark your attendance for the today's session. Just go over here in the one link section. Okay, so you have a link, something here called one link. Click here, and first of all, you have to enroll into our course, and you have to be already logged in. And I hope you are already logged in to Let's Upgrade. And here you can find the mark attendance. Click here, and you will see this scale. So how much you like this session, you can give it me from 0 to 10. I like myself a lot, so I'm just going to give 10 here. And if you're interested about 6 months of full stack program, just do a yes. And if you have any suggestions for me and for Let's Upgrade, you can just choose any of the suggestions. And for now, I don't have any suggestions, so I'm just going to submit my attendance, and that's all. So it's a way by which you can mark your attendance. And I'm going to announce the winners for yesterday's quiz that we usually held after each session. So like the first prize winner are gonna get the 500 rupees of Amazon cash voucher. So okay, let me just open the folder again and let's hope that VS Code will work fine. Okay, so I'm opening my VS Code here. It's taking a time, little bit of time. I don't know why. I think my camera is taking so too much of RAM today. Maybe it is the reason. So in that case, I like maybe have to system interrupts 100%. Okay, nothing. Chrome is taking most of the CPU. Okay, just give me 1 minute. I think I have to fix like my laptop is taking too much of things. So just give me 1 second, guys. Yeah.
Hey, hi guys, this is Sai Kiran from LetsUpgrade, and I'm here today to congratulate you all guys for completing or like for pursuing our Essentials program in various fields what we do. And I want to tell that yes, this is amazing program what you're doing. But if you want to continue this learning and want to take your career to next level with a one-on-one personal mentorship, what we are not providing in essentials, and also build real-time projects, then join our 6 months PGP full stack program in data science or AI/ML or web development in MERN stack or Python Django. That's it. Bye bye.
Okay, so it's now working fine. Sorry for the interruption. Cancel and let me share my screen one more time. Uh, 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 Share my screen and here we are. Okay, here we go. So it's my VS Code and let me just execute this function like we created this function yesterday as well. So to call a function, all you have to do is like function and you can just call a function like very easy to do. And now I'm just calling my file how to execute your application. So it's an application that you have created using Node.js and the JavaScript. So here I'm calling like executing my application and I'm getting this hello world in my terminal. So okay, that was till like we did yesterday. So first thing that I'm going to tell today is how basically you can do one thing that we have something called objects. Okay, object is also like you can take it as a very special kind of variable value. So like we had value like 10 or something like this 2 3 4, these all are values, and it's also a value like it's a string value type of string Sanjay. So like each of kind of value like have various types. So I'm just going to tell you about like suppose if you want to use multiple types of values and you want to store them in a single variable. So if you have a variable here and this variable can only store one kind of value. Suppose if you want to store multiple type of values to a single variable, what you can do, you can just use this curly brackets here, and inside this you can basically create an object. So how to create an object? It's very easy. So it's an object and you can basically store like more values here. So let me just put like name here, and name is going to be John, or like age, and age equals to 30 or something like that. So it is an object actually. Yeah, it's an object. If I will do a console.log for the object, console.log for obj, and if I just go here in my terminal and if I try to execute my file application one more time, we will see that we are getting our whole object. And if you just want to like access any of the value, like if it is storing name and the age, if you just want to like get the value for the age, just go over here and put a dot. Yeah, just put a dot here, dot, and the value that you want to access from this object. Yeah, so from this object, you if you want to access this age, just do object dot age. Okay, obj dot age. And if I just will go over here and if I just try to execute my file one more time, I'm just getting 30. So this is all about objects. So object is just a like collection of some extra values if you want to store like various kind of things in a single thing. So in that case, we can use this concept of object. So now I think we are good enough to start our servers, like how we can do create a server. So how you are going to do this? First of all, let me just tell you about something related to modules. So we have modules in Node.js. Okay? We have modules in Node.js or in basically in JavaScript. And what are these modules? So basically modules are just a collection of functions. So if you just create like multiple functions here, suppose if you want to create a module for a calculator. Okay, so it is like it's just a collection of some functions. So here I'm creating one function, sum, then I'm just creating multiply. Okay, then you can create a function for divide, divide. Okay, so like these we have three functions. We can basically create a module of these three functions and we are just going to store them in a single file. By the way, we are not going to do this. So why I'm telling about this modules, like what are modules? Modules are just a collection of some functions, and basically Node.js provide us with some of the modules. Yeah, as soon as you install the Node.js will also install some of the basic modules. Like let me give an example to you. Suppose we have a module called http. Okay, so this module basically contains all the functions which will help us to create an application, like that server related application. So how you can use a module into your application? For that, just do require. Okay, require, and inside this type the name of the module. So we have HTTP module here. So that's all. Okay, so you have to put this line at the very top, like require HTTP, and you have to store this thing into some variable. So I'm just going to store this thing in a variable, and for that I'm just going to create a variable, and you can name this thing anything. So I'm just going to name it mod. Okay, or you can name this thing HTTP, anything. Okay, it's just a variable at the end of the day, HTTP. And if I just do a console.log for HTTP, yeah, no worries, I'm just going to clear everything to you. And instead of hello world, I would just want to console.log HTTP. Okay, and if I will just try to execute my file one more time, so node my file.js, as you can see, we are getting a huge console here. So basically, this is an object. Okay, this HTTP is an object which actually contains some functions, some values, and etc. etc., which will help us to create a what you can say a server. So I'm just going to give you an example. So by the end of the day, this HTTP is an object for us. So we are requiring the HTTP module, and we are storing everything inside that HTTP module inside this variable HTTP. Okay, HTTP. Now this HTTP is an object. Okay, it's an object. So you can basically get some values from it. So one thing that I need from this HTTP object is HTTP dot create server. Yeah, create server. So basically it's a function. HTTP dot create server is a function. And how we are able to use this function? Because we are requiring HTTP module. We have more modules, like we have OS, path, etc. etc. So we have a module called OS. So this module will help us to determine like how much performance your laptop have, what kind of processor your laptop have, etc. etc. But we are not we just want this module for now, HTTP. And inside this HTTP module, we have a function called create server. Okay, create server. And this create server basically takes a parameter, takes an argument, which again is a function. So what you can do, you can pass a function as a parameter to some other function. So if I just create a function here, what you can do, you can basically pass another function inside of it. So let me just call this function fun, and you can basically create one more function. So like function 2, and this function 2 is just going to console.log and hello. And you can pass this function as a parameter to this function like fun2. And if you're passing some parameter here, you have to accept this thing here as well. So you can name this thing anything. I'm just going to name this p here, and you can execute it. Okay, this thing actually called as callback. Yeah, you can basically pass a callback. And by the way, we are like not going to do this stuff. We are just going to pass a function here inside this create server function. And if I just try to execute this file, first of all, let me check if it is okay. So we are getting hello. And if you're not getting this stuff, we can skip it for now. The only thing we are like focusing into, like you can pass a function here. So for that, I'm just going to create a function like const fun and this thing. And you just need to pass a function inside this create server. Okay, so I'm just going to pass this function here. That's all. Okay, that's all. And after that, you can basically have like console.log hello I am server here. Hello I am server, and a save. That's all. Now what you have to do, like you have created your server, by the way. As soon as you execute this function http.create server, and you have to pass a function inside of it. As soon as you do this stuff, you have already created a server. But there is one more thing that you have to like do, that as soon as you call this function basically return us something. So let me just do this thing, and I will explain you this stuff in a minute. Okay. And after that, we have to do server dot listen, and you have to mention a number here like 3000, 4000, any number. So I'm just going to put 4000. Okay, so now we have created our whole server, and I'm just going to explain each step one by one. It's the first step. For the first step, we are just requiring a module called http, which contains all kind of stuff which will help us to create a server. Okay, and after that, we are executing this function http.create server, and we have to pass a function inside of so we are passing this const fun and like a function, any function will work for now. Okay, and after that this function actually is returning us something. Okay, and what is actually this return means? So with the return, what I actually mean, like if you, a function can basically return something. So okay, so let me just do return 100. Okay, return 100. Now as soon as I will call this function, this fun, it is going to like execute every line of code which is present here, like console.log and line 1 or anything like that. Like let me do simple calculations here. Okay, and that's all. And as soon as you will call this function, it's just going to execute this line and it's just going to return this 100 here. And we can basically store this 100 somewhere. A function can return anything, any value, any kind of value. And if I just do this, so I'm getting the output. But what you can do here as well, so you can store whatever this function is returning to some another variable. So let me just name this as res. Okay, so I'm just creating a variable res, and whatever this function is returning is just going to be stored here. So let me just do a console.log for this res as well. So console.log res, and I save. And if I just try to execute my file again, I'm getting 100 here. Okay, this is the res, whatever this thing is passing. You can pass like you can, this function can return anything. Like if I'm just passing Sanjay here, so I'm just getting Sanjay here. Okay, so similarly this function is also returning us something. Okay, and what this function is returning to us, so let me just see what this thing is returning to us. So I'm just storing whatever this function is returning into some another variable, and let me just console.log this thing, like what we are getting here. So server and the savior and cls to clear all everything. And okay, again we are getting an object. Okay, we are getting an object, and this object basically has some more function and all, but we just need this listen, like server dot listen. And listen, basically you have to pass a number here. Any number will work, like it should be like greater than 1000, it should be lesser than 999. So you can pass up, and this is basically a port number. This thing is a port number. I will explain you like what is a port number and what is a IP address. So I will explain you this, like it's a little bit of theory work. By the way, you have created your first server. So let me just start this server. To start your server, all you have to do node and my file.js, and that's all. Now your server is running. Okay, your server is up and running, and anybody can around the world can send you a request. And for now, our server is not doing anything, like it's just sitting here and doing nothing. So let me just show an example how it's going to take any request from the world. So let me just put localhost here and 4000. So here basically we are sending a request to our server. Yeah, we are sending some request to our server. And as soon as I will just click here, you will see I'm getting an output here. Hello, I am a server. Okay. If I just press enter here again, so I'm getting this output. Yes, see. So I'm just mimicking. Yeah, I'm just trying to mimic. I'm just pretending that I am somebody else around the world, and I'm sending a request to my server. And as soon as you will send a request to a server, whatever function you passed inside this create server function, is just going to get executed. So that's why, like I just told you, like pass a function here, and this function can be anything. So let me just put an emoji here as well. Okay, emoji here as well, and I'm just going to restart my server one more time. CLS and node file.js. Okay, and if I will just go here, and as soon as I send any request, I'm getting this output. Why? Because as soon as I'm getting any kind of request, this function is actually getting executed, whatever function you have passed here. Okay, so this function is getting executed as soon as I'm just getting any kind of request here. Okay, so now basically we have to handle these kind of requests, and I'm just going to explain like what is this port number, and like how you can manage all kind of these requests and all. So here we are going to get into some story stuff, like how actually stuff works. So remember yesterday that I told you, like our server is just a computer connected to internet. Okay, so all the computers which are connected to internet, they have like their own IP address, and IP address are unique. Okay, they all have their IP address, and IP address are unique. And suppose if this A wants to send a message or wants to send a request to B, it must know the IP address of the B. So suppose A want to send any kind of request to the B, or any message, any kind of thing. Okay, suppose A just want to send a like photo or a message to B, it must know the IP address of the B. Let's take IP address of the B is like 1.7.0.0.8. Okay, it's just a random number. IP address is just a random number. Okay, that's all. So this is the IP address, and your own IP address, you can basically find your own IP address. Just Google it. What is my IP, and just click enter, and like this is my IP address. And you can also just open your CMD and CMD, and you can just type your IP config. I'm just going to do this for now, IP config, and here you can find the IP address that. So for now, IPv4 is 192.168.1.3. So if somebody wants to send a request to me, they must know my IP address. Okay. So basically, how you can send a request? Any application basically can send you a request, a browser, application, mobile application, anything. So I'm just going to try to send the request to my own service, like 192.168.1.3. So this is my IP address. Okay, this is my IP address, and after that you have to mention the port number. The port number. So what is the port number? Whatever number you have like specified here. This is your port number. So like 4000. So I'm just going to write here 4000 and just press enter. And now you are sending a request to your own server. So like see, I'm getting IAM server here. So like here basically you can do that as well, but like for now you cannot do this. So yeah, we are getting any request. So like the IP address of mine is 192.168.1.3. That's my local IP address. You can basically not send me requests right now. After the deployment and stuff, you can do this. And if you're not want to like type everything like 192.1.6, you can just go over here and type localhost. Okay, localhost and the port number. Okay, it will also work for you, localhost and the port number. So if you just want, you can just do this or the localhost. Okay, anything will work fine for the testing purposes. We're just testing like how basically our server gonna react to a real request. So we are just testing our stuff for now. Okay, so now I'm just going to give you a quick recap like what we did till now, and this is the function that we have passed inside this. And as every time we are going to get request, this function is going to get executed. Okay, now this function basically have two parameters here. First is request and the response. First is request and the response, and this request is an object. Okay, request is an object basically. Console.log console.log request. Okay, so request is an object, and this request object basically contains all the details about the person who is requesting to us. Okay, so if he is my server and somebody is sending me a request, this request thing is just going to contain all the details about the person who is requesting to me, like the IP address of the person and what kind of stuff that person has sent it to me, what kind of message and all, etc, etc. But for now, we are interested in this second thing, the response. So this is basically request, REQUEST, request and response. Request and the response. And if I just do a console.log for this request, okay, and if I just open this and to close your application, just put control.c and your application will basically stop. Now my service is running one more time, and let me send the request to my server one more time. So I'm just going to go over here and I'm just going to do localhost and the port number, whatever number I provided here. So let's 4000 and press enter. So this is the request object I'm getting. All the details about the person who is sending me a request, like what kind of client, IP address, etc, etc. And we don't actually need this stuff right now. I'm interested in the second thing, the response. By using this response, you can basically send back a response. Okay, so for now I'm just going to remove this, and response is an object. Okay, response is an object which basically have a function called end. Okay, and you can pass anything here like hello from server, okay. Whatever you will pass inside this function is just going to be sent back as a response. So if somebody is just going to send me a request, I am just sending back them hello from server. Okay, So let me just do this one more time so you can see. And by the way, it's completed. Okay, you have created your server, which is just sending a simple message back as hello from the server. Okay, so my server is working. And now if somebody around the world is going to send me a request, so let me do this for now. Localhost 4000 and press enter. So see, I'm getting a message hello from the server. So I can do this again for you. Like as soon as I will send a request to my server, I'm getting hello from the server. That's all. So in this tiny minute, I have told you about everything, and now I'm just going to explain and I'm just going to clear all the doubts that you may have, like feeling like all kind of stuff and etc etc. I'm just going to clear everything for now. By the way, you have created your own server and it's working fine. It's working completely good. That's okay. Okay, I'm getting a good HTTP. Okay. Yeah, you can have like different name for the request and response. You can basically have different name because these are just the parameters. So I generally go with REQ and RES. Okay, REQ and RES. But the order should be same. The order should be same. First one should be request and second is just going to be response. Order should be same. By the way, you can name this thing anything like A and B. Okay. So now B is going to contain all the details related to the response. So B dot I. So that's not an issue. You can basically have different name for this. And instead of like creating some separate function, I generally was cut this thing. Yeah, just cut this thing and you can directly paste this thing here. Okay, directly. So you don't have to create a separate function. You can directly pass a function inside this create server. Okay. And this server.listen can also accept second parameter and which is a function. So I'm just going to type a function directly here. And these type of functions are actually called anonymous function. Okay. So I'm just creating a function directly here and I'm passing it directly instead of creating a separate function. So I'm just going to type here console.log server is running on port number 4000. So like what is this second function? By the way, you don't have to like always pass this thing. It's optional. So every time you will start your server and if everything is working completely fine, this function is just going to get executed. So like if you want to check everything is working fine, you can pass this function as a second parameter to the server.listen. And let me just call this thing one more time. To close your application, just do ctrl plus C, the thing that you use for copying something. So just do control plus C and your server will basically close. So I'm just going to start my file one more time and I'm getting an output. The server is listening on the port 4000. Okay, so now my server is actually working. So let's just go here and as soon as I just give it a save, I'm getting hello from the server. Let me put an emoji here. And every time you make any change to your server, you basically have to restart your server. Okay, so I'm just restarting my server one more time. Now my server is running on the port 4000 and I will send a request. I'm just sending back a response, this thing. Okay, hello from the server. And this is the emoji. Okay, this is the emoji, but it's not looking good here, but it's the emoji. So that's all about the basics of server and all. So let me just give you a quick recap. First of all, you have to require HTTP module. And after that, you have to call this function http.createServer. This create server is a function which was actually present inside this http module. So this http module basically contains all kind of stuff that basically is used to create these kind of application. And inside this create server, you have to pass a function. Okay, you have to pass a function. And here I'm directly passing a function. So like you can do this, like here I'm directly passing a function. And like if you are like getting confused with this stuff, you can basically create a separate function. So I'm just going to do it again, like const on request. I'm just naming this function on request, and I'm just going to do response.end response.end. Okay, hello world. And you have to pass this function inside this create server. Okay, that's all. And after this function is actually going to return us something. So you can store this thing in a variable, and in this variable, this is an object, and this object actually contains another function called listen. So as soon as you created all of your code, you have to start listening. So that's how we execute this file, server.listen, and you have to mention the port number. Port number could be anything between 1000 to 9999. Okay, so I'm just choosing 4000. You can choose any random number, and that's all. Okay, that's all. Now if somebody wants to send a request, they must know your IP address. So if you're testing, so you can try to, like, you can mimic a kind of request by using your web browser, a Chrome, any browser will work. Just do localhost colon, okay, colon, double quotes, like localhost colon and the port number. So port number is 4000, and here you have to mention like local host or like your IP address. So 192.1.3 something, 168.136, something like that was my IP address. Okay. By the way, if it seems little difficult, I'm just going to make much easier for you, because we are not going to use HTTP. We are going to use something called Express. Okay, Express. So Express is again a module which is not pre-installed. Okay, so we have to install this Express. Now Express is just going to make this all of the thing very easy. Okay, right now it may seem little bit difficult to like work with this HTTP. So we have multiple modules to do exact same thing. So this is the first stuff, like HTTP, then we have Express, then we have Fastify, and like we have so many more. But like most preferred one is Express. So like I'm pretty sure that you have heard about MERN stack, MERN stack. So here E stands for Express. So we are going to learn about this Express, and N stands for Node. Okay. So we are going to install this library or module separately. So for right now, we were using HTTP module, which is actually pre-installed. We don't have to install it by ourselves. But Express is not pre-installed, so we have to install it by ourselves. So it's very easy. So by the way, you have created your first server, like it's working fine, and I'm just going to share the code with you guys. And let me just close this terminal here. Okay, and that's why I was talking about that you have to know a little bit of JavaScript, because all the stuff like here we are getting a return from a function, so it's a basic JavaScript. Yeah, you can pass a function to another function. It's called basically callback. So it's JavaScript. It's not related to Node.js. It's not related to Node.js. It's basic JavaScript. Okay, and hey, after that, like we have created our first server. And let me just go through the chat. If you have any doubt, you can ask me now. Okay, why it's not like showing? I should have like a okay. जैसे डाउट्स देखे वो गायब ही हो गया. एक सेकंड रुको, it's refreshing. Let me just pause this thing. And I'm waiting for live chat to appear. Okay. Use for Node.js is used for creating applications. Any kind of software. Node.js is used to creating application or software with JavaScript. Okay, so the language is JavaScript, and with using Node.js, you can create some applications like this thing. This VS Code is also actually made using Node.js. Okay, you can create all sorts of stuff. Localhost isn't opening. You have to basically localhost, and after that you have to put a semicolon. Yeah, colon. Sorry, localhost, localhost colon, and your port number and your port number. And first of all, don't forget to start your application. I have seen that most of the time. I like to close your application, just put ctrl plus C. Okay, ctrl plus C, control plus C. So the exact thing that you used to copy. And after that, execute your file. And after that, you can do like localhost or something like that. Just copy paste this code and it's going to work. I have put sir. Yeah, using of React. React also uses Node behind the scene. I have put. Okay, Sheetal, I'm just going to come to your doubt one more time. Have a look, like you can just write all of the code one more time. Okay. Callback quickly. Yeah, I'm just going to try the callback quickly. So what is actually callback? So somebody is asking like, what is callback? So callbacks is nothing like you can pass a function inside some another function. So if I just create a function here, fun, and here I'm going to create a function. Okay. So it's just a regular function. Okay. And what you can do, you can call this function. Yep. And you can pass another function as a parameter here. So I'm just going to pass a function directly, and you can like do anything here, console.log hello world. And like this is the function which is accepting this parameter as a function. So like so kitni baar function बोल दिया अभी मैंने, count. So I'm just going to accept the parameter here, and you can call this thing. So if you look closely, this function, this one, So whatever I have passed here is actually getting called by this function. Okay. So this thing is actually called callback behind the scene. Okay. This thing is called a callback behind the scene. And you generally won't see this kind of logic. You will just see this thing. Like we are passing another function inside a function. So as you can see here, we are doing the exact thing here. So this create server is a function and we are passing some another function. And like we are not worried about like what kind of stuff this create server is actually doing. It's actually doing everything behind the scene, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so right now I'm just going to install the express.js, and for that I'm just going to create a complete separate project. First of all, what is why express and not another thing? Because express is popular, it's fast, and like it's most widely accepted express. We have more frameworks like fastify and all, so you can just google express.express.js. Okay, and you will basically see this website. So like it will tell you about everything on except express is a fast unopinionated minimalistic web framework for nodes. Okay, for node.js. So let me just show you how we can use express.js. First of all, again I'm just going to create a new folder here, and let me just name this thing express server. Okay, server, and I'm just going to open this folder, and inside this folder I'm just going to create a new file. For that I'm just going to open the VS Code, and you have to open that your terminal. Okay, you have to open your terminal, and now I'm going to tell you about some of the commands, and these commands are it's going to be very helpful. So let me open the terminal here, and let's just create a new file. So for the new file, you can name this file anything. I'm just going to name this file app.js. app.js. And here inside your terminal, you have to basically execute a command which is basically npm init. Okay, so what is this command is used for? Npm init. So what is this npm is? Okay, so by the way, npm stands for node package manager. Yeah, so it's nothing, it will help us to manage our project. Okay, npm will actually going to help us to manage our project, like whatever application that we're creating. So it's going to help us. It's very easy to use. Okay, just inside the same folder just type this command npm init. Okay, and just press enter. And now after that it's just going to ask you some questions like what you are making. So like it's asking what is the package name. So my package name is express server. Express server. Okay, just press enter. What is the version? It's the current like first version I'm going to create. First version. Any description? Yeah, it's express server. Okay, and press enter. Entry point, just press enter. And if you want to fill all the details, you can do it. By the way, all the details are not important. You can just do enter, and you will get this file package.json here. Okay, as soon as you like execute that command npm init. So like it will help us to manage our project. I'm just going to show you how it's going to happen, and that's all. Now open your terminal again, and now you can basically install like third-party modules which were not previously installed. Like http was previously installed, already installed for us, but now by using npm, basically I can install all sort of stuff. So for that, just type npm I, okay, and express, and press enter. That's all. Okay, just press enter, and now it's just going to install express inside this project. Okay, it's going to take a little time, like 1 to 2 minutes to install this, and you will get another folder here which will be naming as like node modules. So you don't have to touch this folder. Basically inside this folder, all the third party stuff, and like whatever we are installing apart from all the basic stuff, it's just going to get here. So like if you will open this folder, you will find express here. So if I will just open this folder, so let me just go down, and you can see that the express is here. So express is installed. That's all. We generally don't touch this folder. Okay, it's not like you don't have to touch this one, and that's all. Now what I can do, now I can use express instead of http, and it's very easy. So now I'm just going to do require express instead of http. Okay, require express. Okay, so instead of HTTP, I'm just doing require express. And after that, you can basically store this in some another variable. So basically, just to use everything inside this, so I'm just going to store this inside a variable express. Okay, we generally do this. We generally name the variable and the package name same, so it's easier for to remember. Easier to remember. That's why. By the way, you can name this thing anything, like literally anything. It's just going to like no changes at all. Okay, so but now I'm just going to use it express. Use express here as well. Now, how to create a server using this thing? So for that, just execute this function express. That's all. Okay, that's all. So like instead of writing that whole code, it's now very easy. Just type express here, and it's just going to return us a object. And yep, that server object server. And now just do server dot listen. Rest of the stuff is same. Server dot listen, and the port number you have to mention here. Okay, and for now I'm just going with 3000. That's all. And you can also pass a second parameter to check that if everything is working fine or not. So I'm just going to log server is running on the port 3000, and let me put here express server is running on the port 3000. And now all you have to do is to start our application. And to start our application, just do node app.js. Okay, app.js, whatever file you have like written here, app.js, and press enter. And now our express server is running on the port for like what is the port 3000. But remember that I told you that npm is just going to help us to like manage our project. So if you just don't want to execute this command node app.js, what you can do instead of that, you will see this app package.json file here. Yeah, package.json file. Open this, and you can see that we have a scripts. Yeah, we have something called scripts here. Just go over here and you can put like start. Okay, start. And after that, you can basically put any command that you want to execute. So I'm just going to do node app.js. Okay, so just go inside this package.json. Inside this scripts, just go and put start node app.js. Okay, now instead of doing like node app.js here in my terminal, okay, instead of doing this node app.js inside my terminal here, I've just written this thing here, and inside this script I have just put start here. I'm just going to do npm start. Okay, and press enter. And now npm is just going to execute this command for us. Okay, it's just going to execute this command for us. So like you don't have to memorize like what kind of file you were using to create the server and all. Now our server is up and running. Basically, if you can check this thing as well, the localhost 3000 and press enter. So like you are getting this thing, cannot get like anything like that. Basically we haven't basically handled the request. That's why we are getting this. By the way, your server is up and running. So now let me just give you every like recap and all. Okay, can you explain routing? Yeah, we are going to do routing just now. Yeah, routing, we are going to do this. Okay, let me just, okay, I think we were here. Sorry, network problem. Carry on, sir. You are doing okay. Thank you. What is the difference between this method? What's the difference between this method? Like which method you are asking about? Dot then okay. Explain the routing. Yeah, I need to explain you the routing. What is the use of console? Yeah, console is basically used to get any output here. Okay. So if you want to see that what kind of output you are getting, like console.log, so just see like whatever you are getting. Okay, that's why. Just visit the yesterday's lecture. I have told you about the console in the steps again. Yeah, I'm just going to explain the necessary step one more time. Okay. Node.js is used only for getting requests and sending. Yeah, Node.js is used for creating application, and by using Node.js, I am creating an application which is enabling us to like getting any request. Okay, sending not like receiving request. Okay, okay. Instead of uh, uh, okay, so you're 12 and I will into go. Okay. No, Whitehead Junior is like it's the biggest fraud of all time. Guys, don't even try Whitehead Junior. Yeah. Okay. Can we use Postgres, SQL, Node.js? Yeah, you can do this. You can use no like Postgres, SQL, anything with Node.js. Okay. Now let me just explain all the necessary steps, and after that we are going to do something called routing. Okay, so it's going to be a lot of fun. First of all, you have to install. Like I'm just going to repeat myself. First of all, you have to execute a command called npm init. Okay. So first of all, create a folder. So I'm just going to do everything one more time, like without any break. So I'm just going to create a folder, and like I'm just going to name this folder express anything. Okay, that's all. Let me just open this folder, and before that let me close this one. Open your VS Code here. Okay, that's all. You have to create a new file. Let it just open. Okay, create a new file. You can name this file anything, but I'm just going to name this file app.js, and just press enter. So it is just going to create a new file for you. And open your terminal, and you have to like execute a command which is npm init, so that basically we can use the power of npm. Okay, so basically it will help us to manage our project, install something extra, to write some commands and all. So it is just going to help us. It's very easy. Just put npm init here, in it. Okay, it's a little bit laggy today. And press enter. And after that, it's just going to ask you some questions like what is your project name, what is the application name, any description, and all, etc., etc. By the way, you can just press enter, and it's just going to put everything as a default. And you're just going to get a new file here, package.json, as soon as you execute the command npm init. Okay, and after that, you can install some extra stuff. So I'm just going to install express. So npm I express, because I just want to use express here. And till it's getting installed, let me just go here, and I'm just going to require express instead of http. I'm just going to require express here. Express equals to require express, and after that all you have to do, execute this express. Okay, express is just a function. Execute this function express, and it's just going to return you object which is basically going to contain everything related to our server. So for that, like const server and equals to express, and after that all you have to do is just to listen, like server dot listen, and you can mention any port number here, uh, listen, and a port number is like 4500. That's all. And if you want to pass a second parameter as a function, if you just want to see that everything is working fine or not, you can just pass a second function here. So let me just do console.log hello. Instead of hello, let me just put server is running on port 4500. That's all. Now, if you want to do some extra stuff, just go over here in package.json. Inside this script, just put another thing like strt start, and inside the start, just write node and app.js. Okay, whatever file that you want to execute, app.js. In our case, the file name is app.js. So now I don't have to write all everything. I can just do npm start, and it's just going to start server for me. That's all. Okay, so with these three lines of code, we have created our server. Now we are going to understand about something called routing. Okay, what is the routing? So for that, let me just open this thing, and here. So okay, our server is running perfectly fine. But like look closely. It is my IP address. Okay, this one is my IP address, and this is the port number. You can basically put anything after this slash as well. Like person who is sending a request to me can basically put any kind of route for us. So like a slash and like hello or anything like that. Like hello, and if and they send a request, we are going to receive this. So let me just do 4500 here and hello. So I'm just sending this is a route. Okay, whatever you put after this port number, like after this slash, anything like it could be any name, any number, anything like that. So this hello is a route, and we have to handle this route. So how you can do this? So just go here. Okay, just go here and just do server. I think I don't know why it's lagging a lot. So I'm just going to do server dot get, okay, server dot get, and just put a slash here, okay, a slash here, server dot get, and just put a slash here. What is the slash? Slash has actually means if somebody send me a request without any route, if somebody send me a request without any route, if somebody send me just like my IP address, so for that localhost colon 4500 and without any route, if somebody sends me a request like this, I'm just going to execute this function. So for that, I'm just going to pass a function here that is going to be executed. And again, this function gonna accept this request and response. And we are like interested in response. Okay, response. And I'm just going to send back a response like response.send hello world. Hello on home route. Basically, we call this home route, no route, yeah? Home page or home route, anything like that. Now if we'll, and now I have to restart my server. So whenever you will make any kind of changes, you have to restart your server. So now it's just starting one more time, and it's going to take a bit of time. Okay, so if I will send a request for that, so I'm just getting a response, hello from the home page. Okay, hello from hello world on the home page. And you can basically handle these kind of routes. So like if somebody like put any kind of route here, like uh, let's say bye. Okay, say bye. So this is a route, say bye, this is a route. So all you have to do, just go over here and just do server dot get, okay, server dot get, and just mention the route. Okay, the route is say bye. And if somebody sends me this say bye route, I'm just going to execute this one. So like you have to handle all the routes. Okay, and we're just going to not going to handle all the routes, we're just going to handle a bunch of them. And after that, you can basically tell the users that you have to send me these kind of routes and all. So like I'm just sending say bye here. So if somebody, and like every time you make any changes to your file, you have to restart it. So I'm just going to restart it. Okay, and for that, I'm just going to type npm start, and to close, just put ctrl plus c, and it's going to close. Okay, now a server is running. And if somebody sends me a route like my IP address 4500 and say bye, so I'm saying goodbye. If somebody's just without any route, I'm sending this hello world from the home page. Anybody sending me any route which I'm not handling here, okay, something like say hello. And if I press enter, I'm just going to send an error that cannot get say hello. So this is the like fixed response that we are going to send. It is done by automatically. So if there is any route that we are not handling, we are just going to get this one. Okay, so that was a little bit about routing, like how actually routing works and what are these routes. So routes are nothing but like whatever you put after this slash. Okay, and now I'm just going to announce the winner for yesterday's quiz, and after that we are going to continue. I'm just going to give you a quick recap, and tomorrow we are going to basically understand all the steps. We are going to understand what methods and the route, and I will just show you an example that you can send back response like of any kind. So let me just do this for you. So instead of basically sending what you can say like this thing, okay, so I'm just, you can basically instead of sending a page like this, you can basically send back HTML as well. So like response dot okay, sorry to say response dot send, and I'm just going to put like any kind of HTML here. Okay, so you can put HTML here as well. So I'm just putting HTML here. So like your direct HTML, and I'm just going to restart my server one more time. Like I have to put the header as well, but for now I'm not put header. And after that, we will announce the winner, localhost 4500. So see, I'm sending a HTML, and I can basically write all the CSS here as well. Style, and for the style, let me just put color red. Save, and like let me just close it and restart my server. So that's why basically we are sending any kind of HTML, any you can send back a basically MP3 file, video, any kind of stuff. So that's all a server basically. So now I'm sending a HTML file, this basically Node.js, and the color is red. So we are going to explore this, how basically we can do all of this stuff. For today, like the whole goal for the today's lecture was just how to basically create a server, little bit of understanding how basically you can send us request and all these kind of stuff. And before that, let me just announce the yesterday's winner. So yesterday's winner are, like, first prize goes to Zubaida, and you're going to get 500 rupees worth of Amazon coupon. Second prize goes to Soham, and third is to Dheeraj, and you're going to get 150 and 100 Alicans respectively. And congratulations to all of you. And if you are in the live, you can just ping me in the chat so I can see. Yeah, we are going to use NodeMon. Okay, I'm just going to cover most of the doubts. Okay, so like Harmeet, basically it's a very basic session, so that's why I'm not covering NodeMon. Tomorrow we are going to use NodeMon. Okay, so please note this doubt. Actually, I got late today, so I will see the recording. If I get any kind of error, can I ask it out? Yeah, obviously you can ask it out any day. Okay, how to participate in the quiz? So you have to join the Telegram. Okay, Telegram. We have a Telegram group. I'm getting an error by downloading the Express. Can you just tell me what is the error that you are getting? Like, I'm getting an error with using npm init. Just put your error as well so that I can see that what kind of error you are getting. Okay. Okay. We can create a Discord expose Whitehead Junior. Yeah, Whitehead Junior. You can just Google export Whitehead Junior and you can find out why I'm not like suggesting you to use Whitehead Junior. Okay. By the way, that's it for today. And tomorrow we are going to work with like routing. And tomorrow we are basically, you can basically send images, photos, videos, any kind of stuff. And we will also understand about the database, like how we are going to join a database into our project. So we will basically create the server one more time. We will cover, I will just give you every recap. In tomorrow's lecture is going to be a little bit longer. So like be prepared, because tomorrow we are going to cover a lot of stuff. I think tomorrow we are going to create a server which is just going to send a whole HTML page. Okay. So I will try to cover that thing in tomorrow's, and also about the database as well. Tomorrow we will understand like what is this get here? What is this thing get? Get is a method. Okay. And this route and like all of this stuff we will cover tomorrow, and how you can send all kind of stuff, little bit of authentication as well, and something called middlewares. So I hope I will see you in tomorrow's session, because tomorrow is like one of the most important session. Like club up, and if you're getting any kind of error, just like note down your errors. You can ask me your errors and all in the tomorrow session. I'm just going to answer that you. And like at the very end, like we are starting our new batches from, like, I think from 24th of September. So like if you want to join a complete course from zero to hero, and if you want to kickstart your journey as a developer, it doesn't matter that if you're into a school or a college or if you're a working professional. These courses are like built for each kind of people. Like if you're from school, it's like completely fine to join. Like it's going to be good for you, that you're going to land a job like after the school. Obviously, just visit our website, like, and you can find the course there. Just click on the start learning tab, and you will get into this thing, full stack web development. Get enrolled. And if you want 10% off, I have a coupon for you. Just go into the description, you will find a coupon code SK10. Use it to get 10% instant off on all the courses that we have here. And I will see you tomorrow. Okay, and I'll see you tomorrow. And tomorrow is a very important lecture, so don't miss out. Share this video, like this one, and subscribe to our channel. Okay, bye bye.